was back in 2003, and at the time I had some fevers and I had heavy nosebleeds, but I thought it was just due to overwork. So I had just a routine blood test, and the doctor said, "Hey, I think you should call this doctor at this other hospital." And I said, "Okay, when I get to it." 3 months later, that same doctor called. "Did you ever call him?" I said, "No, I didn't have time." He said, "You really should call him." So when I called and they answered, they said, "This is the hematology clinic." I thought, "Oh, something's up here." And that's sort of went from there. That's how I found out. Probably the first thing that went through my mind was how much longer do I have to live, and also how's it going to affect my family, my wife and my kids, because I had 3 young kids at the time.
I was in my senior year at high school. I had just had a friend pass away from leukemia. So cancer had already kind of touched us directly, but not nearly as directly as this. And this was really shocking for all of us, even as level-headed as my parents were when they first told us about it.
My wife was with me when we were diagnosed, so we kind of both decided together. We kind of weighed our options there of whether we should tell them or not, but we thought that if I needed treatment right away, which I did, the kids would know something was going on, so it was better just to be straight with them. And even though at the time, you know, the outlook was uncertain because it's not curable, we felt that I was young enough and that this was just another kind of bump in the road, and that's the way we explained it to the kids, that yes, I'd need treatment, but I'm in it for the long haul.
The first time I found out was when I was a freshman in high school, so it was a lot to kind of take in, but I still didn't fully grasp the extent of it right away. And then as it went on and it kept getting worse, that was when I started to really worry. And then luckily it got better.
The thoughts are, oh my God, it's cancer. How did I get it? What did I do wrong? How did I cause this to happen? Is it genetic? Is it something I ate? Did I live a bad life? And also then is how long do you have to live? Because some research publications say that the average lifespan is 6 years. Others say 10 to 15. You know, that's the first thing that comes into mind. But there are other factors that they should consider. They kind of had to adjust to living a new normal, where you know, I could be going through treatment or I could have some issues, and they kind of realized that and were just pulled together, and they tried to adapt, I think, as best as they could. And we told our oldest son, no, you have to pursue your dreams and go for your music degree out of state, because that was a great opportunity for him. First step probably was to try to find out as much information as possible that I could about the disease. Various medical journal publications about the disease, and the International Waldenstrom's Macroglobulinemia Foundation, or IWMF for short, that ended up proving to be a real valuable resource for me.
When my father was diagnosed, initially there was sadness, but he took it as an opportunity to completely change the way that he did some things, the foods that he ate, the diet that he pursued. And he also took it as an opportunity to study different forms of leukemia and his specific form, the research that was out there. If you invest yourself in not necessarily finding a cure, but finding a way to manage the disease, it can be managed and you can survive. And my father is living proof of that.
There is a vast community of fellow patients and caregivers out there that are willing to share their experiences and their knowledge with you. That's very rare, so even in your own part of the country or the world, you may not run into another person that has the same disease in your local area at all. Even if it's just calling someone or emailing people, I've made several people that I consider friends today through the IWMF, and several people that are kind of my go-to people whenever I have significant issues that we're kind of scratching our heads, and my doctors are scratching their heads. I'll pose them questions, and they'll have answers, and we'll be able to kind of take it to the next step of what we can do about the disease.
Most of the time, this specific disease is not something that you die with, that you die of, you die with it. So you really have to do your research, really get in touch with the support team and listen to what others have gone through, what treatments have worked for them, what treatments haven't, and really do your research. And I think just finding the support within the support group is the best thing to do, because they're going to get you through it. You know, they're going to make sure that you have the best treatment, the best doctors possible.
It can be controlled. It's not the end of your life. I've seen my father in the ER in some of his worst moments, and when I think back at those, I realize that he is still here doing the things that he loves.
You just really have to make the most of every day, of every second. Always say I love you, always, you know, don't let anything linger, don't fight about anything for too long, because it's just not worth it.
As rough as it gets, you can always get through it. Just keep a positive thought.
Yes, the disease is rare. Yes, the median lifespan may be 10 to 15 years, but that's a research statistical average. And it all depends on how sick you are when you first get diagnosed. It depends on your age, your general physical well-being. So if you're relatively healthy, if you're aware of what your body can and can't handle, and you have a strong support system and go to see the right doctors, then there's no reason why you can't expect to live 20 or 30 years. And with the advancements that are happening in immunotherapies, chances are within the next 5 to 10 years there may be a cure.